All right. Welcome to Rebel Ants Radio. My name is Kevin here with my co-creator, co-founder, co-host Miguel. What's going on, Miguel?
Not much. What's going on over there? How's it going?
What are we doing here today?
Well, we're gonna talk about us. It's our first episode. Let's just have some fun. Talk about what we're doing and how we got here, etc. And hopefully, some people can get a background as to why we're doing this. And learn something along the way.
Yeah, I think we've been spending a long time trying to get up to this point. There's a lot happening behind the scenes to get us to where we are today, but figure we should just get started, get us live on Rebel Ants Radio, and kind of catch everyone up to where we are today. So let's start at the very beginning. For anyone tuning in who has no idea what Rebel Ants is, Rebel Ants is a NFT project, 10,000 profile pictures, PFPs, and just computer-generated art that you created. And tell us, what is an NFT?
So an NFT basically is a unique digital identifier, that cannot be copied, substituted, or even subdivided. It's recorded in a blockchain, and it's used to certify authenticity and ownership. The ownership of an NFT is recorded in the blockchain, so you basically own the rights to it. You can transfer it by the owner, obviously, and allowing the NFT to be sold and traded if that's something that you choose to do. Obviously, I really like NFTs because I've been into art for a very long time, and NFTs kind of give someone, an artist, a platform on how to showcase their art. I think it's a great idea. So from the beginning, I always thought it was an amazing thing. So we finally were able to do something, right?
Yeah, you and I have been talking crypto, talking NFTs for a long time now. We've been talking crypto really since we've known each other back to like 2011,
10.
2010, maybe. Yeah. So how
Yeah.
did you get into crypto to begin with? What's your background story? And then I'll share mine.
So I've always been into crypto, like you said, since 2010. Always been fascinated by it, right? Just the fact that you're able to transfer a currency instantly to a different part of the world without having a middle person. I thought that was revolutionary, such a great idea, right?
Yeah, the first time I heard about this idea of transferring currency without the percentage or the fee or the cut going away, and one of the first examples I heard about was, imagine donating $100 to a charity and them getting all of the money instead of fees being taken out because you're transferring it. That really like blew my mind, and I knew that this was, something that really made sense and something the world needed at this point. When did you first hear about Bitcoin as like the first cryptocurrency? What was your first exposure to that?
Um, 2000, and I'm gonna say maybe 10, around late 2010. There was a lot of buzz in the internet, a lot of chats going on about this digital currency, kind of define banks, etc. So it just kind of got me interested. You just go on the chats and see what's going on, kind of try to learn from it. It was at the time, it was very secluded, right? Not anybody knew about it, so you had to kind of like go into all these different websites and chats and just things to try to learn something from it. But I thought it was really interested, and I really wanted to be part of it. So I got into Bitcoin super early, and here I am.
Yeah, here we are. I heard about it first also in 2010 from another podcast called Free Talk Live, which I don't listen to anymore, but it was the first exposure I had to Bitcoin. And I remember how hard it was to get Bitcoin or transfer Bitcoin or do anything with it. I had this old little laptop at the time, and I was like, oh, I could mine Bitcoin, right? Like, how hard could this be? And it was a complete, overwhelming challenge.
Disaster.
And yeah, it doesn't really work on a tiny laptop even back then. So I'm glad that we've progressed and that it's a lot easier to obtain and use and transfer any sort of cryptocurrency. So I think we're heading in the right direction. It's obviously a lot more mainstream now than it's ever been, and I think that only helps shed light on projects such as what an NFT could be in general. So let's go back a second, because you had talked about what an NFT was and talked about the drawing of it. But there are other types of NFTs, right? So there's music and there's other just digital assets that can be transferred online through the metaverse, whatever that is. How did you decide that you wanted to kind of focus on a art project?
Well, again, I've always been into art, right? So since I can remember, pretty much I've been into art. So it's kind of difficult to do something you love when the real world kind of hits, right? And you have to get a real job, you have to pay bills, etc. And once you learn about NFTs and what you can do and how easy it is to just draw something and kind of put it there. Well, in context, it's not easy to do because here we are trying to learn ourselves,
Yeah.
right? But it kind of got me interested, and I really wanted I always wanted to do something with the whole NFT world and see how it kind of transpired into something, right? Just knowing that I wanted to do art, again, since I was little, I always wanted to draw. I was always in school doodling, making pictures on walls and stuff like that. So I thought it was a great idea, and I just really wanted to hone in on it. And I think me and you talked about it several times. We never really put anything in paper. And then one day I just kind of sat down and on my iPad and started kind of drawing. And I think I texted you and I was like, hey, I think we're ready to do this. Let's just do something. Right.
Yeah. Yeah. You and I had talked about some other theoretical project months before that. Right. And then you approached me around August, I think, saying like, hey, look, I've got the basis for this thing, right? You were already drawing and working on the portrait of the ant and then the traits. And I was excited by it. And so I was like, yeah, let's just do this. Let's see where this goes. Let's see how far we can make it on our own, or really just you and me, no real experience, no technical background, just a couple of
Zero.
crypto nerds, crypto degens that had really been enjoying the NFT space and really appreciated and respected the culture and just wanted to kind of contribute and give back to that, right? So when you first reached out to me, you had a project called the Angry Ants. And we're not the Angry Ants, we're the Rebel Ants. So how do we get from Angry Ants to Rebel Ants?
So we found out that someone out there was named already Angry Ants. So we had to switch it to Rebel, but it kind of worked out perfectly.
Yeah, I think Rebel feels better than Angry Ants. I feel like it's a little more purpose and mission driven. When the name Rebel Ants first came up, what did it mean to you? What did that really resonate with?
Just define the space, right? We're the little guys with no experience trying to get into the NFT world, and in all honesty, it was really difficult for us to even get to where we are now. We had to learn all this stuff in the background, no code, right? What we can and cannot do, Discord, Twitter Spaces, Twitter in general, Instagram, TikTok. There was a lot to learn, and fortunately enough, there's YouTube out there, and people that really want to help. But it was very difficult to try to find some of these people that really want to help you and trying to learn what this is. So we had the great idea of just trying to showcase what it is step by step, what it is that we're doing, so that other people can kind of learn, and if they want to follow on the same steps, they can. So here we are, and this is why we're doing this. It was super difficult. There was not much information out there. We rely on a variety of YouTube videos, friends, Discord chats. We ask questions on Twitter, etc., to try to get here. So hopefully, what we want to do in showcasing this platform is to kind of teach other artists out there who are thinking at home, like, oh, how can we do that too? And kind of give them a base on how to start. And if they want to follow the same footsteps, they can. And we'll teach them and we'll show them what it is that we're doing to see if they can, follow on the same footsteps.
Yeah, you and I have kind of divided and conquered all the duties that there are with getting even this far, right? And we're right at, you might think of it as the finish line or the starting line. I don't know, right? We're about to go live with minting in about a week, and that's really where the fun gets started. But to get here has taken a lot, right? Like you said, a lot of social media, a lot of building, a lot of generating, a lot of learning, and a lot of asking questions. So let's hone in, piece by piece on that. Let's take it back to the art and kind of explain to everyone how you made the art and then how you got it essentially onto the blockchain so that it's ready for minting come October 31st.
So this is a long story, right? Obviously, I wanted something that meant something. So ants, they really are strong little guys, right? They've been around for thousands of years. They're resilient, right?
Yeah.
Uh, they lived through the ice age, and they're still here, right? So
Yeah.
um, I thought it was a funny innuendo, just having be the ants be the art. So anyway, so we had the art done, or I had the art done, right? And we were trying to figure out how to generate the 10,000 that we wanted to do, right? And that was difficult. We couldn't figure out an NFT generator. There was like 8 million videos on YouTube about how to do this, how not to do this. We just couldn't figure it out. And then I stumbled upon something called NFT generator.
Yeah.
You had to spend like I think it was on the basis of like $500-600 to try to generate the art. We did that, thinking that it was going to work out and we were going to learn something, and it was going to be something easy to do, and it didn't pan out, right? So we generated all this art and we couldn't use it because we couldn't figure out the steps. I mean, we're not engineers, we don't have a coding background, etc. And I thought that it was very difficult to understand some of the things that they were kind of saying to do.
Yeah.
And me and you kept going back and forth for days on this, trying to figure out what the next move would be. We had all this art and we didn't know what to do with it.
Yeah. And so the issue with NFT generator was that it generated the art, right? It combined all of the layers that you had, and then you had 10,000 images, but then it was a question of how do you get that onto the blockchain, right? How do you make it hosted online and then it can be minted, right? Was that the disconnect that we were running into?
Yeah, and I'm sure for some people listening out there, it's probably something that they're gonna hear us say, and they're like, "Oh, that's easy to do." But for us, it was very difficult because obviously we didn't have the engineering or the coding background, like I mentioned earlier, right? So we were kind of stuck, and then all of a sudden, you've been a fan of Robotos for a very long time.
Yeah.
Actually, you got me into my first Roboto, and then we met about we saw about Pablo Stanley, right? We started learning about him and Bueno and this thing that he was kind of creating. And I think one day I kind of said, well, let's try Bueno and see what happens, right? And it was so smooth and easy to use. It was very, what's the word I'm looking for? It was just very easy to use, and they explained it to the T exactly on how to do things, and they really wanted to help you. Like he's all about the art, and his team is all about the art, right? And the artists, and trying to learn how to bring people into the space. And I thought that was something phenomenal, right? So we scratched the NFT generator art, we threw it all out and started from scratch again, and decided to generate through Bueno, right? So we did that. We got the art done. We were able to figure out forms and all that other stuff. And then we kind of moved on into trying to promote, right? And ensuring that all our platforms were good, like the Discord, the Twitter, the Instagram, etc. So then I think we started with Discord.
Right. That was our first social media that we were really focused on, especially from building a community and given the NFTs, preference to use that as a community platform. We kind of started there.
Yeah. So with Discord, if you're not a Discord user, it becomes kind of difficult to use Discord a little bit. You have to learn about bots. We had to go into some YouTube videos, etc., to try to learn how to create your community and your channels, etc. And it took us a while. It took us a while to get there. And when we finally went live with the Discord, I think we had 2 members at the beginning.
Yeah, you and me.
And it was you and me, yeah. So then when we finally started growing a little bit, we discovered that Discord needs to be safeguarded. You got to kind of save your community, keep them safe. You have people that try to get into your Discord to use fake links, etc., to make people click. I didn't know none of that at the beginning. And we learned that through Twitter, actually.
Yeah.
There was someone on Twitter, and I think it was
There was another
a
podcast.
podcast. Yeah, it was a
Yeah.
podcast we were listening to, and it was very informative. I mean, we're able to learn what bots are safe, what to use out there, what to put out there so that the community's safe, etc. And we ended up fixing the Discord, and we still have more growing to do with the Discord. We still have more to learn with the Discord, but just to give a base of like what happened with the Discord channel and how difficult it was to try to get it running. And for the people that are trying to do their NFTs and trying to open up a Discord page, just make sure that it's safeguarded. Basically, don't use any crazy bots.
Yeah, and I think we can definitely do a whole episode on that in the future. Bringing up a comment here from Noob and Gear saying, just getting into Discord as a user is a pain. When I got into DeFi, almost a must to join info to get info on the various projects. And that is so true, right? If you're part of a project and you're looking to be a part of the community and get the benefits of whatever that project is, or just stay in the loop with whatever's happening, you've got to be in the Discord, right? Sure, you can follow on Twitter, but the Discord is really where the conversation is happening. You're going to meet other people in the community. So totally accurate, Noob and Gear. So great comment. Thank you for sharing that.
And we're still learning, right? We're still learning what Discord is all about. Like when you first start Discord, you start getting all these people that want to be your moderators.
Yeah, right? Everybody wants to work for you.
Everybody wants to work for you in Discord. Every single person that tries to get into your Discord group. I think your first like 50 people that join are all marketers that want to be the moderator for your Discord, right? So you gotta be really careful.
Yeah, I think once you announce to the world that you're starting an NFT project, you really make yourself vulnerable because everybody wants a piece of you, whether they're genuine or not, and it's really hard to tell the difference, right? It's hard to know from all the people that tweet us or message us on Discord that want to be a part of our project or work with us or collab with us. It's really hard to know who's genuine or not. So I think where we're at right now, it's probably easier to just say no to everyone because we're not even ready to work on other projects with other people yet. But I think as we get started and once our mint goes live, we'll have a little more traction, a little more action going on, and we'll need to work with others to help promote. But I think for now, it makes sense for us to just kind of thank everyone for their interest and let them know at this time we're not hiring anyone for our community.
Yeah, and it's really difficult for us to kind of handle because it's just us two. So it's difficult for us to handle all the channels, right? The Twitter space, the Instagram, the Discord. So just bear with us until we get there where we need to be so that we're able to kind of go through all the platforms. But anyway, let's talk about you, Kevin. So you did our website, which is amazing, by the way.
Oh, thank you. Very proud of you.
So how did you... I'm very proud of you too for making it. So did you how were you able to do that? How did you get into this webpage making stuff? Because obviously you did a lot of research too, and it came out phenomenal.
Yeah, what's interesting is the web platform that I used to develop is called Webflow. And my first exposure to NFTs really was through watching a Webflow video of Pablo Stanley making the Roboto's website in Webflow. So I was just looking for videos on Webflow, just trying to learn more and more last year. And then I found a video of him building the website for the Robotos, and I didn't know what the Robotos were before that, but watching him build that website, and then on his channel was also where he was developing and drawing out the Robotos before they were, anywhere close to live. So I kind of got this emotional attachment to it, having watched him build the website and spend hours and hours drawing out the actual NFT. So I was happy to see that you can make an NFT website within Webflow because that's what we ended up doing. So I used Webflow to build the website. There's a lot of cool interactions happening on there, and we'll definitely do an episode that's a deep dive just into the website and the design behind Rebel Ants Radio and Rebel Ants. But the combination of Webflow and then, as you talked about with bueno.art, having the forms and the sign up button really happened at the right time for us because it was really just made a public option for us right when we were ready to put up the sign up list for the whitelist. So using Webflow and then embedding in the form link with from bueno.art into the website really made it possible to let people sign up for the whitelist, because that was one of those other hurdles that we were facing, saying, okay, how do we integrate Webflow and let people mint or sign up on the whitelist? And this was just the perfect combination. It's just funny that it ties back to Pablo Stanley and what he's doing. And like you said, he's always been very focused on the creator and this no code world and, you know, supporting artists. And so I think we were just lucky with our timing that it's probably never been easier to get a form up, to get collect whitelist addresses. And
and I gotta say, I gotta say that even when we had questions about the Bueno forms and how to do certain things, right? We went into their Discord and asked the questions, and we were able to get answers right away. And things were very simplistic for us to try to get the stuff moving and going, right? I think that he's doing a great job with his team there. And I think it's going to get even better, right? It's getting easier and easier to showcase your art and be in the NFT world.
Yeah, he's definitely making it easier by the day. And it's not just him, it's his whole team, of course. So we are appreciative to be working with them. It wasn't a free thing to sign up for bueno.art, but it seems to have been well worth the money and the best value that you can get in terms of launching an NFT project, because it's very all-encompassing. You can generate the art, you can mint right from there, and now you have access to all these other features such as forms, which is kind of helping us with this other hurdle that we were facing of saying, hey, we want to give out a gift to our first 100 minters, right? So the first 100 holders, we want to send them a gift, a personal gift, a real life and IRL gift box. How do we get their address, right? How do we know how to contact these people? Because all we had was their wallet address. And with the forms that Bueno has introduced, you can now collect, you know, email addresses or Twitter names or even just addresses if people wanted to share that. So that's really going to help us in fulfilling that promise on our roadmap of giving gifts to our first 100 holders.
Yeah, and we made it optional, right? So if some people out there are not going to feel safe, they don't know who we are. So we understand that. So we made it optional, you know, but we are going to give away 100 gift boxes to the first mentors and 1 free ant from the collection, right, too. So hopefully that happens.
Yep, I'll share the link for the whitelist right at the bottom here, and then minting goes live on 10/31. So anyone who's watching this, please sign up, send us your address so we can let you know once minting is live, and you can be a first holder. You're going to get an extra NFT drop, an airdrop from us, and you'll get the box mailed if you are willing to share your address and contact information. So invite you to sign up now. So let's talk about some of the other social media, right? Well, let's talk about Twitter, right? What have we done to grow our Twitter community so far?
So we've done some marketing. Obviously, we've done some marketing through Twitter. We have some people that we've come across that have a very large audience, right? So they usually take a payment in Ether, and they kind of just retweet your tweet, basically, and you hope to get some followers and some interaction there, some engagement, right? So that we've been lucky enough that that's kind of been working for us, although, you know, the bots on Twitter are not very easy. So make sure that you keep that in the back of your head out there, that for every 10, you might get 1 real person out there.
Yeah.
So
what I think surprised me the most was how informal it was to work with marketers or promoters on Twitter, right? They're basically just saying, hey, for this much, I'll do this, right? I will post, or I will repost, or I'll pin, or I'll have my, you know, my network share a tweet. And so there's all these different options, but then it's just like, I'll do it for this much money and here's my address. And then you just send, you know, whether it's, you know, money or ETH, but
crypto.
That's it. Yeah, any sort of crypto, right? There's no real contract, there's no website, there's no agreement, there's no sign up. It's just this agreement that, hey, I'll send you this money and then you'll do this thing. And I think we've been lucky to not get burned by that, right? Everyone we've worked with has done it. What was really interesting was the biggest account that we worked with, that we paid, that had over 1 million followers. When we paid them to just retweet something from us, I think we got like 10 followers, right? Just 10 followers. Whereas
I think less than that.
Yeah, I think you're right. Probably less than 10. And I don't even know if those 10 are still around, right? We've probably lost them over time. But, you know, working with some of the smaller ones who say that they're NFT promoters who maybe have 50,000 or 150,000, and we've gotten 1,000 followers at some point from those, right? Again, like you said, some of those are bots and they drop off, but it's really, you can't just go by looking how many followers does that one person have to make a determination if you're going to be able to get, bang for your buck on that.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. And also not only that, but the interaction that we keep doing on Twitter, liking stuff and commenting and just engaging, that's getting us a lot of followers too. So that
Yeah.
helps a lot.
Yeah. What was that kind of formula that you were working off of for kind of daily engagement?
Wow. So let's talk about this for a second. So we did major research, right, on how to gain followers for days.
Yeah.
Like you're researching for days, like how to gain some followers on Twitter, how to get some engagement going, and it's very difficult.
Yeah.
Right, till this day, it's very difficult. The best thing you can do, and the biggest advice that I've learned so far, and we're still in the early stages, obviously, but the biggest advice is just be engaged, and make your presence known on Twitter. Follow people that you like, talk about stuff that you like stuff that you like, and the followers will come. I think we're gaining about 4 or 5 followers a day, pretty much.
Yeah.
It's not much, obviously, but at least it's something. We are losing followers every day too, as well, which I'm sure those are bots and stuff like that. But we're organically growing some followers. So
Yeah,
I think
I
the
think
biggest advice is just to be engaged.
or milestone reference of where we are today, as of October 22nd, October 23rd, we have 1,022 followers, right? And we joined in August of 2022, and so, like you said, it's more slowly growing, but I think that's the right type of growth, right? We did a number of things to get our name out there and get some exposure, but now it's also on us to continue that natural growth. And like you said, being involved in the community that you want to be involved in your project is probably the most valuable thing that you can do, is just be a part of that community.
Yeah, 100%. So
And then,
the other things, sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead.
So the other things that we've done too, when it comes to like social media, I think we had an issue with Instagram, right? We had an issue. We had an issue with Instagram for weeks. We couldn't get into Instagram. There's a part when you're joining Instagram and it starts asking you for the phone number verification, and we kept putting the phone number down and it wouldn't go through. And we tried that for weeks and days, and we tried emailing Instagram, and that's like, hitting a wall. We couldn't get the page up. And then finally, we just kind of said, screw it. Let's just use somebody else's phone number. And we did, and it actually went through. So we're finally on Instagram. So follow us on Instagram. We're posting a lot of pictures on Instagram of stuff that we're working on. We're posting stuff on merchandise, on V2 Volume 2 that we're going to be working on for the ants. We're already started doing that artwork. Just random artwork. Sometimes I feel inspired to come home and draw some ants doing different things. Which, by the way, I think my graffiti ants is pretty cool. Just wanted to say that.
Graffiti ant is great. It's actually the background. If you can squint your eyes over here, you'll see the background. I think what we've also realized with this idea of Rebel Ants is there's so much that we can build off of this, right? Like, we just initially had this name of Rebel Ants, and then as you've drawn and as we've kind of talked about what is the meaning and the mission of Rebel Ants, like, there's just so much that we can do with it. So many different directions we can take it in. And so I'm excited about that, right? It's not just like a one and done sort of thing, or, it's not just a launch 10,000 pictures and then walk away. Like, there's so much we can do with this, right? And, Rebel Ants Radio is just one extension of that. And so there's so much more to come. Like you said, there's V2, and then we're working on, eventually scheduling real life meetups, especially in conjunction with one of the partners that we're working with, which is One Tree Planted, which they will plant a tree for every $1 that you donate. And our commitment is that we're going to donate $1 for every transaction, for every sale of a Rebel Ant NFT. So hopefully, at the very least, there's 10,000 trees planted on our behalf, and hopefully a lot more as our project mints out, as people buy and sell and trade. So I'm really looking forward to kind of building up everything around the Rebel Ants community.
Yeah, I mean, and we really wanted to do something good, and we putz around for weeks too, thinking about like, how can we partner with a nonprofit, and we thought about all these huge nonprofit organizations out there, right? And the moment that we started looking into them, it's more of like a business, not really a nonprofit, right? And we stumbled upon One Tree Planted, and I thought it was a great idea. I thought it was phenomenal, and we got in touch with them, and they got in touch with us. We had a couple of meetings, and it was amazing. So here we are with One Tree Planted, and hopefully we can plant those 10,000 trees.
Yeah, what was cool when we had our video calls with them, just sort of introductory calls, is we were not the first NFT project to go to them. They've clearly
No.
worked with a lot of NFTs. So we were like, oh, okay, I guess we're not the first guys here looking to do this. So, I mean, I think, popular publicized NFTs have probably been going on at least, maybe 18 months now, right? If that.
Yeah.
And so I guess if nothing else, it's cool just to know that there's other big projects out there that are kind of a few steps ahead of us, and we're gonna get there. We're gonna catch up to them, and I'm sure we'll surpass them because, you and I are in it for the long haul. And, the premise of Rebel Ants is that we're the small guys, right? We're the small guys doing this all on our own, figuring it out from day one. And we're going to make it work. So that's what I'm excited about. And that's what you can expect from Rebel Ants Radio, is just updates on our project, bringing in the community, sharing where we're at, kind of going behind the scenes, and, letting you know how we're doing, and kind of talking about what else is happening in the industry, in the space, and other news happening with NFT projects. So this can be your one-stop shop for staying up to date with Rebel Ants, as well as crypto news and NFT news that we're happy to share.
Yeah, and I'm hoping that in the future we could get some other artists to come on the show too, and kind of talk about, how they got started, what they have to do, what hurdles did they go through, right? And I think it'll be a great thing for other listeners and other artists to really hear and learn that they can also do this too, right? We had zero experience, and here we are already doing a podcast and going live on YouTube right now, right? So obviously it can be done.
Yeah, it definitely can. And like I said at the beginning, even just to get to here, it took us a while, right? We were looking at probably every platform that there is to stream. And so I think the first thing we looked at was the Riverside platform, which a lot of big podcasts and video podcasts use. But it just didn't seem like it had a lot of flexibility. It was nice that it links directly to Anchor, which is the podcast platform through Spotify. So we will be releasing the audio version and the video version of this really as a podcast through Anchor. But I didn't love the way Anchor was, right? I couldn't figure out OBS. I'll be the first to admit it. I just couldn't figure it out. That's the common platform for streaming, but it's just not for me, way above me. Once we learned,
you're really mad about it.
No, I'm over it. I'm a little butthurt over it, but that's okay. We've moved on to some of the more web-based platforms, right? So first we looked at Riverside, then we looked at StreamYard, which is what we're using now. And then we looked at EVMux, and I really liked EVMux, but it just doesn't really work for us. For some reason, some of the feedback we got was that it just doesn't work well on Mac computers, and it was very choppy. It was very hard for us to stream through that, although I really liked the system itself for creating overlays and text and backgrounds and all the parts that you want to display visually. It just didn't work for us from an audio perspective. So we moved on from EVMux. Then recently learned about Ecamm Live. That looks pretty good too. Maybe we'll upgrade to that. But for now, we're on a paid plan for StreamYard, and this is what we got so far. We'll make it work, and we'll keep going with it. And we hope to continue to evolve this platform as well, and just kind of keep everyone up to date with what we're doing. Any other thoughts, Miguel?
No, not at the moment. I mean, I think this is our very first episode, right? So we just want to kind of introduce ourselves. We really want to go into details of how we got to where we got as of right now. I mean, I think we gave a base of, what we had to do to get here. And hopefully in the next few episodes, we can talk about more in detail what we needed to go through to get to this point, right? And all the headaches and, being at work and coming back home and trying to do this in the afternoons, stuff like that. So for you people out there that are working,
waking up at 5 a.m. and doing it before work,
or doing it before work, right? So for those people that are out there that are working hard to support their families and stuff, just know that if this is something that you want to do, and you're an artist, obviously you can still do this. It just takes a little bit more effort. You have to obviously take care of your families first, and then on the side do what Kevin does. He has this huge book for appointments. So for today, I had to make this appointment with him to be able to record today. No, but seriously, obviously, if this is something that you want to do, you can. You just need to put the effort, right?
Yeah, that is a great point. We both have full-time jobs. We're both very busy, and I think we both agreed that if we could work on Rebel Ants full time, that would be our full time job. But for now, this is where we're at, and hopefully one day we'll be able to make that transition. But this is the beginning of the journey, and it'll only continue to grow from here once minting goes live. Minting goes live on October 31st. So check out our website, rebelants.io, for all the information on that. And yeah, thanks, Miguel. I think it was good we finally got time to sit down and do this, get this out. And then from here, like you said, a bunch of deep dives into the steps we've taken to get here, and then kind of catch us up to going live and kind of sharing our journey from there.
Right. And we'll see you on the next episode.
Yeah. Thanks, everyone, for watching, and we'll see you again hopefully in a week. Bye.
Thanks, everyone.